Hi class! This video is going to go over the Child Care Center Monthly Operation Budget Assignment Guidelines. So in the video, I'm going to review the guidelines with you. I'm also going to go over the grading rubric, and I'm going to show you the form that you'll need to use. All of these items are available on Blackboard. You can look on the main menu in the assignment section, or you can click into the module and it will be located towards the bottom of the module. So let's go ahead and go over the actual guidelines. And before I do that, I want to give you some history. This assignment is so important because when we look at directors and we look at their strengths, most directors are very good with children. They're very good at interacting with adults and in the community. But most directors do not have a background in accounting or business. And when you're running a center, you have to be able to understand a budget. You have to be able to understand how much money you bring in, how much things cost, and you have to make sure that you're either breaking even, which means that your expenses and your income match, or that you have what we call a positive cash flow, meaning you're making more money than that. So this assignment for some people is going to be very challenging, but necessary in order for you to be a great director. So the purpose of the assignment is for students to demonstrate knowledge of strategic and physical planning in an early care and education program. So I'm right here on the guidelines form. So the materials that you're going to need is you're going to need our textbook, and I've outlined for you chapter 5, pages 72 to 82, and also pages 87 to 90. So I have provided you the budget form. It's located on Blackboard. You'll need a computer and internet access. It's really important before you attempt this assignment that you do the reading and complete the activities in the module. So our guidelines for the assignment is number 1, read chapter 5 in the textbook and complete the materials located in, it's actually module 2 on Blackboard. I'll make that correction. That you're also going to prepare a monthly operational budget for a child care center, and I have numbers of children here because that affects your income. So there'll be 6 infants, 8 toddlers, and 24 preschoolers, and this will be a licensed child care facility. You're also going to need to address income. So income can come from tuition of students, it can come from application fees, and you also can have grant awards. So in this case, I do want you to explore receiving grant awards. You're going to have a science and math curriculum grant that is $500. Please note that it is science and math, so that $500 can't be used, say, for photocopying attendance sheets. It would have to be used for something related to science and math. Students also are going to address monthly expenses in different categories. So I've set up mandatory categories for you. You can add more if you'd like, but these must be included. So we're going to look at staffing, rent or payment on a mortgage on a facility, utilities, advertising, food for the children, office supplies, classroom equipment, insurance, licenses, and staff development. So the grant funds can be incorporated into a different line item, and you can give me an explanation. For example, it could be equipment, materials, staff development related to science and math. So you're going to create a monthly budget that shows the amount of income and expenses the center will receive and incur in 1 month. Okay, so I have a figure for you to refer to in your textbook on page 88. So the figure 5.2, I want you to realize that that's over the course of a year. So you need to pick 1 month. Then, after you create your monthly budget, I'm going to ask you to create an annual budget using monthly amounts. And it is important to understand that some months may be different based on the needs of the program. For example, you may have more income coming in September when you have a large amount of enrollment of preschoolers versus in your summer months because some of those preschoolers are moving on to kindergarten and other programs. So you're going to submit the monthly operational budget, and also I wanted you to note that the numbers might be different than the examples in the book due to children and ages served. So you're welcome to look at the book's examples, but yours should not be the same. And I'm going to grade this assignment using the operational budget grading rubric. So in terms of the rubric, the first thing we're looking at is the assignment guidelines, and that means that you've used the line items I've required, you've noted expenses and categories that are included, it's submitted on time, and you used the format that I provided you. I'm going to look at income. So income talks about monthly and annual tuition amounts for all enrolled children. And again, I've broke it down into the different age ranges, as well as grant funds and application fees should you desire to charge those, which I would suggest in order to make more money. I think that you're going to find that if you don't have say subsidized programming, that you don't make a lot of money and you have to pay a lot for your staff. So expenses are the categories that I've included in the assignment, so I want to make sure you addressed all those, and that the money that you acknowledge was reasonable. So for example, if you tell me that you're going to rent a building for $100, I'm going to say that's not reasonable. Okay, both monthly and annual amounts are addressed. Prescribed content. So what I'm looking at here is that the monthly amounts are distributed over the course of the year, and every month may be the same, may or may not be the same to reflect changes in income. However, the totals have to be based on the monthly amount. And then I'm going to look at your calculations. So income and expenses have to equal 0. Addition, subtraction items are calculated correctly, and you don't have any errors. So the way I grade this is as a 2, 1, 0. So if you've met the criteria, it's correct, you're going to get a 2. If you've attempted it with errors, you're going to get a 1. And if it's not addressed at all in your assignment, that would be a 0. So here's a copy of the form. So the form is in Excel and it is typable. You'll have to save it to your computer, work on it, save it then again under a different name, and then load it into Blackboard when you're finished. So here you can see that we have income and support. Okay, so here's your income, and you're going to record income in these columns, and it will calculate for you. So notice you can do your tuition, and you're going to have to figure out what amount are you going to charge. That's going to be part of the assignment. The expenses. So I have the expenses that are listed that I'm wanting you to put in there. You're going to have to research, how much is payroll and taxes and health benefits. And notice here I gave you some examples. This is based on a national average, so you have the particular amounts there. Then we have the food, fees, so all the different categories that I'm looking for are available here. And then that's going to tally. So this is where you want it to be 0. I do have an area noted here that if you need to complete an explanation of your expenses of the categories, if not sufficient, you can type that in here to kind of explain to me. So that's our monthly budget. At the bottom, if you click on annual budget, you'll see that we have the monthly budgets where you're going to include the month, and it says August. And so you're going to be able to do those for the whole entire year. And again, if you need to justify that, you can do so. Okay, so if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at tropke@hancockcollege.edu.